Dick Butkus, I hope you're doing well, sir. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk some football. But as we look at Reuben Foster, sort of describe him in a mindset that you have as far as a linebacker perspective, what you see in Reuben Foster.
Well, I think he just is the definition of what this award or who this award goes to, and the reasons why people receive it. He's just an all-around great player. I mean, and he loves to hit. And even a lot of people think that I have a vote in all of this, and I really don't, because years ago I was always traveling on a Saturday, it seems like, and I never had an adequate amount of time to really judge people. So we've got an excellent staff of 51 selectors that really know what they're doing. I mean, it's scouts and everything else, and this was Reuben had it. He had it down, hands down. I mean, the closest guy to him was actually Zach Cunningham of Vanderbilt, and he was a write-in, actually. He had a pretty great year, but Reuben outdistanced everybody, and of course there was two other teammates that were up for it also at the very beginning on the 51-man watch list. So he's just, in meeting him the other night at the banquet, he's just, there's certain things that, when we deliver these the awards to these kids and surprise them, I always walk away with some kind of an impression of them, and it seems like my inklings have been right. This kid's he's going to be a good one at the next level, and what more can you say? He's a team guy. Seems like a very humble guy, and he has all the attributes of what you need to have a great linebacker and a leader on defense. He's
a headhunter too. I mean, he's a guy that loves to, as you said, loves to hit. I mean, he's a guy that. Yeah. I mean, and we've been watching this since he arrived here. I mean, he was a special teams player back when really wasn't a starter because they had a lot of quality players in front of him. But even on special teams, I mean, he'd lay the lumber.
Well, in fact, that's one of the last things I said to him. I said, as you go on, try to hit somebody. He says, "Oh yeah, I will." So, yeah, I gather that he goes after him.
Let me ask you, from a defensive perspective, what is your thoughts on, as the game has changed, Nick Saban is still winning on the defensive side of the football?
Well, I think part of that is your scheme, and part, of course, is the people you have playing on defense. They just seem to, just dominate in stopping the running game, and it just, I don't know what a team can do. I mean, this is my theory. I mean, you can have the greatest offense and all that business, but if you can't run the ball, I mean, a lot of times you're going to get a 3 and out, and that's going to be fairly quick, and that's going to allow my offense to get the ball and maintain the clock if I have a good running game. So what do? Is that they stop that running game pretty abruptly all the time, and it throws the ball over to their offense and gets them off the field, and it's pretty hard to score when you're not on the field.
When you look right now at the current rules, whether it's NFL or the college game, being a legendary defensive player, do you think the rules favor the offensive side of the football?
Oh, well, I mean, that goes without saying. Yes, and I totally understand the reasoning behind it. Is supposedly everybody loves the scoring game, and then you have the injuries. And the hits from the defensive backs to like receivers who aren't have their head on a swivel. I mean, it was always a famous term as an offense and defensive player. If you were a linebacker or a defensive back, or a receiver, is put your head on a swivel because someone's coming at you somewhere sometime. And now it's not like that. And I understand. Okay, we want to make it safer for people, but I think it's really taken something away from the game, and it's I don't know. It's becoming too much like a track meet for my liking.
We are talking right now to the legendary NFL player Dick Butkus, right now talking about Reuben Foster, and certainly we're going to talk about Dylan Moses. You had a chance last night to present that award to him, the high school Butkus winner, and I'm sure you know Dylan Moses is verbally committed to play football here at the University of Alabama.
Yes, he is. I asked him, I said, man, didn't you think about Illinois at all? And he says, they never called. And I said, oh, for crying, I got to get on Lovie Smith. Gee, man, we could have had this kid. I don't think so. But you know what? Our selection committee head guy, he told us the other day when he let us know that he had won the award, that he says, get ready because you'll probably be going fairly shortly to give this guy the college award. He is that good. I mean, I guess there's a story everybody knows about that, after his 8th grade game or whatever, that Les Miles offered him a scholarship to LSU, and Nick Saban offered him one to Alabama. And when Les Miles left LSU, then he committed to Alabama. We saw him. He's another. It's like a spitting image of Reuben. I guess this guy is unbelievable athlete, and he went to this IMG Academy for his senior year. He did 3 years of high school in Louisiana, and they had him playing every position possible. And then he wanted to hone in on defense and on linebackers, so he transferred to IMG over here in Bradenton, Florida. And they said, the coaches from every major school have been through here looking at this kid. He's really something special. So, and a good kid, very humble. And that's what I like about him, and Reuben, that they know where they're coming from, and like we have an inscription on the trophy just saying, look, there's an American tradition of don't flinch in giving back, and because they're in a position now where they can give back simply by becoming a Butkus Award winner.
Let me go back here for just a couple of minutes. You talked about Illinois a couple of seconds ago, that you were a 2-time All-American there. I'm just curious, coming out of the 60s, were you ever offered by Coach Bryan, and did you ever consider the University of Alabama?
No, back then, I went to my high school. We have graduations in February and in June, and I really wanted to I graduated in January, so I wanted to enter school as quickly as possible so that I would be able to participate in spring practice back then. They had spring practice, and as a freshman, you couldn't play varsity. They had a freshman team. So I wanted to make my decision pretty quick. And, of course, being sort of a young historian of football, I really considered Notre Dame, but when I had asked the final question, they had asked me, is there anything, you want to know? I said, well, yeah, I really didn't see any of the marriage facilities, and oh no, you don't want to do that, And the following night, Coach Taylor, I asked him the same question. I said, what about marriage facilities? And he just said, we got brand new ones. No, brand new ones. And so I elected to go to Illinois, and it turned out that Bill Taylor is my daughter's godfather, and my daughter went to Notre Dame, so we handled it both ways. So, I just, Illinois had lost 15 games in a row, and it just seems to me that a lot of kids want to go with the winner and want to be on TV. And like an Illinois situation right now, I mean, we're in the pits. I have to admit that, and it's just really hard to recruit because everybody wants to be on TV. And I'm thinking, why won't you tell these kids, look, you have a chance. We think you're good enough that you can come here and we could turn this program around, and it'll be something you'll remember for the rest of your lives, like like I do. I mean, when I went there, I think they were 0-9 the previous season, and then my first sophomore season, I think we only won 2 games. But then my junior year, we went to the Rose Bowl, and that was because we got some players out of Chicago, and we had the drive and the incentive to make a change. And, you know, rather than going to a really established school, you know, I can go to Alabama or Illinois. Well, you know, geez, I would go to Alabama because they're so great. Well, wouldn't you want to be a program and have confidence in yourself that, hey, look, I'm gonna make Illinois that program, and that's, you know, where I'd come from. But I don't know if the kids believe in all that nowadays. You know, it's a different breed. I tell you what. And recruiting, oh man, I don't know. I can't. You know. You got Harbaugh sleeping in the guys' bedrooms and making sandwiches and cooking for recruits, and it's unbelievable.
Hey, that's a little different than probably when you were recruited, right? I don't think anybody came and had a sleepover in the living room or any of that.
No, I don't. No, it was like, you know, you had to beg them. Like, geez, do you think I could come here? But yeah, you know, you got some good kids there, and you got a good program, and you know, Nick Saban is a great coach. It'd be hard to recruit against that guy.
Hey, let me ask you a final couple of questions here. We're talking with legendary Dick Butkus about the Butkus Award awarding Dylan Moses and Reuben Foster. One of my listeners to our program said you've got to ask him the question about giving a fumble back to a player just to hit him again. Is that true or is that a myth? For you?
Geez, I don't know. I think that might have been a... Oh, I don't know about giving a fumble back, but I think he meant a timeout.
Okay.
It may have been the Detroit game.
Detroit game. Okay, right.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a timeout. I mean, earlier in the year we played Detroit, of course, twice a year in our division, and so I used to snap, and so I'm out there pregame practicing snapping, and Hallis walks by me and he says, "Hey, did you hear what Flanagan said about you?" And I looked up. I says, "What? What'd he say?" And he just, limped away. And I'm like, "Well, that son of a, I'll get him." So I just went after him. And so they're beating us by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and it's late in the game, and our guys are saying, "Let's get the hell out, get this over with." And I'm calling timeouts. And then they finally asked me, one of the players, Obradovich, I think, or Buffon, said, "Come on, Dick, what are you calling timeouts for?" I said, "I just want one more crack at Flanagan."
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
No, that's the true story. It wasn't a fumble. It was just it was a call extra timeout.
They might put you in jail for something like that now. I mean, right?
Oh, Jesus, I'd be up for no telling where I'd be.
Final question.
Some island somewhere.
Final question. iPlayClean.org, something that you're strengthening through the future of sports in your commitment there. Talk about that, and then talk about how people can get involved.
Well, listen, I football has meant a lot to me, and I think it's time for payback, and that's what I say about that quote on the trophies. And anybody that takes steroids is really well, first of all, they're cheating and they're scum to me. I mean, character-wise, if they have to do that to get better to perform. But I don't want them destroying the game. And that's why we initially started the high school award, is because it's not so much college kids taking steroids and pros as they do. It starts in high school. So we wanted to be able to reach them and use the high school award as a vehicle to get to that level and say, "Look, guys, we're sending you an affidavit like we do to the college players, and you have to sign that, and you have to say that you're signing this because you do not take steroids. And because if you don't sign it and send it back to us, you are taken off the list, and I don't care how good you are." We want to get this image across that, it's a great game, and we don't need some stupid people taking steroids trying to get better when all they're doing is jeopardizing their life in the long run. And that's basically what it is. And it's a hard sell for us because, when you talk to a parent and they don't have kids they don't give a darn about whether these players are on steroids or not. And sometimes I've had announcers in interviews actually say, "Well, Dick, I like to see these athletes taking steroids because I like to see home runs." And I'm like, well, have you ever talked to the parents of some of the over dozens of people that have taken steroids and have committed suicide when they went off because of the depression? I said, I'll give you a list of the parents. You call them and tell them that you're in favor of taking steroids and see what happens. And I hung up on the guy. I mean, it's absurd to allow that to go on. And what gets me is when these pro players, who all of us are looking up to, they get busted, like Alshon Jefferson with the Bears. He's in his franchise year. It's going to cost him, was it $2 million because he took some supplement that he thought was okay. Well, Alshon, if you think there's any doubt, wouldn't you ask the doctor, the team doctor, or the team trainer, look, I'm about to take some of this. Will this pass? Is this okay? Or should I avoid it? So unless he knew it wasn't going to pass, he took it anyway, and it's cost him $2 million. Least of all, he's hurting the Bears' chances of winning games. And I think that's so selfish, and that's what I believe is a character issue. And I don't like those people in football, so that's what I'm trying to do, is eliminate them people.